Hey everybody, it's Eric with What's in the Box, and we are doing the interviews for Texas Horror Lit Fest. And today we have Susan McCauley. Sorry, I should
That's
have asked how to say your last name first.
all right. You're right. Susan
All right,
McCauley.
awesome. And I looked over to the side because I'm already a fan, so
Oh,
I that's why I glanced that direction. So um,
that's my
it's
darkest one so far.
Well, and that's why I grabbed it. When you told me that when we met the first time, you're like, "This is it." I'm like, "I'm going to go." That and the fact that it's historical because I
Yes.
love that. It's set in 1500s, right?
Yep. Late 1500s,
In
France.
France, and that's my wheelhouse. That kind of stuff is the thing. I'll gravitate towards that. And then you added the bonus. This is the darkest thing I have. So I was like, okay, it's a 1-2 punch, perfect,
That's awesome.
storm. Um, so we're doing these interviews so that everybody gets an opportunity to meet some of the authors that are going to be at Texas Horror Lit Fest in Irving, Texas, this June 27th, 28th. And both days the event will be open 10 to 6. So it's a free event. So everybody come out and see us. And we're going to kick off this interview like we do with all of them. And the first question is Freddie, Jason, or Michael?
Oh dear. Who scares me the most or who do I like the most?
However you want to word it, if it's your favorite or maybe you don't like any of them or
Freddie. Freddie. When I was younger, he absolutely terrified me the most.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's usually the one that gets picked. Um,
Yeah.
and I think some of that is because he's the only one that talks and he has a personality and a lot of people kind of gravitate towards that. But also that first and third movie are so fantastic. So,
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely. And his history is so, yeah,
yeah,
really, and kind of haunt you.
right. 100%. And I always take Jason. Jason's my guy. I think the complete catalog of Jason beats everybody hands down because I find something I love in all of the movies. There are some Freddy movies I didn't think were very good, more
Yeah.
cash grabs and stuff. But I would be hard pressed not to have 1 and 3 in a top 10 list of movies. And I mean, that's pretty impressive right there. And Freddy's just so darn evil, especially when you go
Yeah.
to the early stuff before he starts really doing the one-liners. Man, he is just terrifyingly evil and creepy, and his backstory, like you said, is just it's not a happy story. So
No.
everything about that character is amazing.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
The best thing is you didn't say Michael. So
I
um,
didn't say Michael.
yeah, that's the one that I mean, of course, he's Godfather. Halloween's amazing, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of scary, but he never scared me nearly as much as
right.
the other two.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And then there's just a lot of nonsense in the Halloween catalog. So
Yeah, yeah.
you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do with that. Next question is, do you have a favorite cryptid or creature?
Oh, wow. Honestly, this off the top of my head, I'd have to say probably, oh, this is going to be hard. I'm torn between vampires and werewolves.
That's where most people have been
Traditional.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think I've been looking more into werewolves more recently, but vampires. I have to say vampires. And when I did a master's in screenwriting and my thesis was a vampire screenplay. So I'm like looking over at my shelf and I still have this insane section of vampire,
Oh,
like
very cool.
nonfiction,
Hmm.
history of vampires and where they came from and vampire lore. So yeah, I have to say
Oh, that's
vampires.
really cool. Um, do you have a particular favorite movie or book?
I mean, a long time ago, and I mean, I love Bram Stoker's Dracula, the
Hmm.
original, but I mean, a long time ago in my 20s, I read Interview with the Vampire, and I loved it. It kind of haunted me. I'd liked a lot of her books, but I mean, I like some of the it's necromancer stuff too.
Oh, Brian Lumsey or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
those are
it's
cool.
really
Those covers
dark.
are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and he built such an amazing world within that, mythology that he did. So yeah, no, all awesome.
And that's part
I
of what I love about them is there's such a variety of from these romantic, scary characters to these just truly horrific, terrifying
Hmm.
characters. I mean, there were things I liked about True Blood too. I mean, the show at the end kind of let me down, um,
Yeah.
but there were some really good things about it as
I
well.
think it's a great series, book.
Yeah,
I
it is.
enjoyed reading. I think Charlene Harris did a great job.
I do
I
too.
really enjoyed the way that she incorporated all that mythology.
I did
Um,
too.
and I mean, I know she's leaning, I guess that falls under paranormal romance, but there's a lot
Yeah,
of horrific things within those books that I think make it um, worth your time if you're a fan of horror. And that's the
absolutely.
cool thing about horror readers is that most of us, we don't get bogged down in genres. If something looks interesting or sounds cool, we'll jump into it and read it. Which is part of why I love this event so much is that you get, we did have more genres in the past, and we are tightening it up a little bit this year, kind of going back to the way it was when we started. But there's fantasy and there's science fiction and horror. But within that, all the writers kind of dip their toes in all these different things. So we're going to have so many subgenres that I think a lot of people are going to find. Um, Even people that aren't fans of traditional horror, they're going to find something fun to read
Yeah, and I
because
think
there's
it's
so many
great and
awesome
important.
people.
There are so many spectrums of horror, even within horror,
Yeah,
that
my
overlaps.
thought when I'm talking with Donna and stuff when we do the show normally is everything is horror, and it's just how you look at it. And
Yeah,
so there's so many ways. You don't always get that with some of the other genres, and they can be kind of pooty when it comes to letting other people in and playing in their playground or in their sandbox. So that's one thing I do love about the horror community is that they seem to be so much more open to letting everybody come in.
which
And
is really funny in a way, but you're right, they
you're right,
are.
because you wouldn't think that. You never
No,
would think that. But
one of the really hard communities is kidlit. I mean,
oh, I can
that's
imagine.
really tough. And the horror folks are so much friendlier and more supportive in general because, I don't know, they are, like you said.
Yeah, it's just funny. And I don't, yeah, I wish I could figure it out and bottle it, so we could get it in the other stuff, just be like this. But it's just, I think everybody's just a little more open to try things.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
they're a little less guarded about everything. And so, and I just, there is a sense of we can all win. So why don't we all try that? And I don't always feel that in the other genres.
I
Um,
agree. From my
so
exposure, I agree, absolutely.
And then the last thing I have, we've been trying to play with this last question. So the right now I'm doing,
And
is
so
there a,
everybody knows I did not know the questions ahead
oh
of
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So I have no idea what he's about to ask me.
Right. Is there a book or an author that kind of influenced you to want to be a writer? Or is there
That's
something that you turn to and you're like, oh, this is the guy or the lady that really helped me? Reading this is what made me think I want to do this.
it's really, there wasn't a singular person or book that did it. I can look at an amalgamation of like events and books. I mean, like one of my very first favorite books was Bernstein Bear's Spooky Old Tree.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm like
That's a
3 years
great
old
one. Yeah,
and I
right.
loved it.
Hmm.
And then my parents, I jokingly say, I fell in love with ghosts because my mom, when I was 3, took me on the Haunted Mansion ride. And I was like hiding on the floor with like the ghost in the cart. And then we got off and I'm crying and begging her to take me again.
Yes. No, that's a great ride. That's a great introduction to that kind of vibe because
Yeah.
it's
And
such a
I mean,
fun ride.
that's where it started for sure. And then I liked, you know, like the Narnia series, fantasy,
Hmm.
that just like really captured my imagination. And it was my introduction to portal fantasies. So I thought that was really interesting. And horror, it was probably, I mean, there's a little bit of horror in a lot of different things. It was
Right.
Disney. It was Disney and Bernstein Bears. This introduced me when I was
Right.
really young.
And I think I'm not sure what our age gap might be, but I grew up on Disney and stuff, but the old school Disney was filled with terrifying stories and
Yes.
things to really get you on the path of horror. All the Something Wicked This Way Comes and a lot of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck cartoons that were,
There's a lot of World War II propaganda. So there's
yeah, there's tons
a
of
lot of
stuff.
adult
Yeah, a lot of
themes.
adult themes that push us into that direction of horror. And
Absolutely.
Disney did a great job with their live action and their animated stuff early on, making sure that we all kind of gravitated or floated towards some of the scarier stuff. Um, it's not the same Disney today, but
No.
um, But yeah, if you can get your hands on some of the old school stuff, I think you'll see why we are the way we are. I also think it's funny that you mentioned Narnia because I think a lot of horror writers will point to fantasy and books like Narnia or Tolkien as something that got them on that storytelling path. I'm a huge fan of the Narnia books. I think that's a great series.
Yeah, I mean, as far as storytelling, that really captured my imagination.
Yeah, and I liked how he did it. The way each book is a little different. It's kind of, there's all these different elements to it, and it all ties together, and you can kind of see what he's doing, but each one's got a different vibe, kind of, and so just depends, I guess, on where you are in life and when you're reading it, and I just thought, yeah, it's a fun series to think. I was excited when they brought the movies out and a little disappointed when we didn't finish it. And then I thought maybe the show, but I think they've canceled it now. So I don't
Did
even know
they
if we're going to
cancel
get,
it?
I don't know. I don't know if it got delayed. I thought it was supposed to be out ages ago. So now I'm wondering if maybe they,
Hollywood is a mess right now.
I
So
know, right? So it's like, I have no clue. Maybe somebody will pick it up and we'll get a Netflix or something.
eventually, hopefully, yeah, once everybody gets their acts together.
Yeah,
And
you would think they would just want to hold on to the rights and they would just put something out. But
absolutely.
the animated Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe from the 80s, the
Oh
early
yeah.
80s, that thing's terrifying.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
witch, the little
absolutely.
imp guy,
So
the way they treat
movies
the
like
lion.
the Dark Crystal scared me.
Oh, perfect example of another
And
movie.
Gremlins scared the out of me.
And all of those are PG and all geared towards children in the advertising and stuff, and all of them are horror
They're
and
horror.
dark
Exactly.
fantasy and stuff. And that I really do think that's what got us going. I mean, even our straight up kids movies, Never Ending Story. I mean, it's really
Oh
dark
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see where we all have our trauma to get us into the point where we like to write horror and
Absolutely. I mean, it
all
definitely
that stuff.
started as a kid.
Yeah,
There's
for sure.
no doubt.
Yeah, I was John Belair's. I loved his stuff, House of the Clock and the Walls, all that kind of
Oh
stuff. The
yeah.
Johnny Dixon series, um, that all kind of helped me. But I think I was reading Stephen King by 8. So I mean,
Oh
that's the other
wow.
thing is we had way too much. Everything was too accessible. We think
Yeah.
it's all accessible now because it's on their phones. I don't remember there being too many roadblocks as a kid to get your hands onto stuff,
See, we
if you
never
really
had
wanted
Stephen
to.
King in the house as far as books, but my dad, from the time I was little, would play like Motel Hell
Hmm.
and Christine. And
Yeah,
so this
classics, great
this
movies.
stuff would be on, and I'm like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've had I've talked about it before. My dad hated horror, just couldn't stand it. Was terrified by everything. But then if he loved Aliens and he loved
hmm
The Thing, and he didn't consider any of that horror. That was
Those
all
have
science fiction. And so
sci-fi with
those were
horror
on.
elements. It's horror
Right.
too.
They're complete horror. But they
Yeah,
were on all the time and shown to me at way too young of an age, which got me on my path to start watching the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and all the great movies in the 80s, Hellraiser, all the things that we probably
gosh,
shouldn't be watching as
yeah.
preteens. I was, you know, neck deep in. Um,
The Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I
yeah,
saw, oh my gosh, the dog body with the man's head that runs out at the end. That like traumatized me.
yeah, all that stuff, and they don't even blink when they show it to us because it's oh, it's not R, or it's a soft R, or whatever it is. They didn't see it that way.
Right.
It's funny to go back and look at some of the things that we shouldn't have been watching or reading at such a young age and getting an opportunity to. Um, that's really cool. So we're now to the part where we're going to talk about your table. Is there anything you would like to highlight? Let people know exactly what you're writing, what kind of books they can expect when they come see you.
I'll talk about my newest one first. It won't be out yet, but I'm really excited. It's available for pre-order.
Okay,
It's adult historic gothic horror.
sweet.
So again, it's like it's debatable. Like if you liked the Silent Companions,
Hmm.
now it's not traditional, terrifying horror. It's like a slow burn. It's
Right,
gothic. Yeah,
right,
so
for
that's what
sure.
they did. So I'm really excited about it.
It's a beautiful
Um,
cover.
thank you. This is also in development for a film.
Oh,
So
sweet. That's awesome.
cross your fingers that one of the actors we've got it out to says yes, because that would be amazing. So that's coming out in September. And then I have everything from adult, the one you showed, which is very twisted, to kid stuff. So I have YA, The Devil's Tree, which was my debut novel. And I have Ghost Hunters. It's a 4-book series for middle grade. So
Oh,
I've got
very
stuff
cool.
from like 8 or 9-year old all the way up to adult.
And
So I've
that's
got a
perfect.
four book middle grade series. I also have a 3 book fantasy series. I'll bring it for any fantasy lovers. Although horror is the bulk of what I like to write, or paranormal.
Yeah. But fantasy has almost every good fantasy has elements of horror in it. And so that's why
Absolutely.
I don't think I know one horror reader that isn't a fantasy fan as well. We've
Yeah.
all at least dabbled. It might have been our gateway. Some people I know read a lot of these things early and then kind of Ravenclaw, was it Ravencroft from the D&D
Right.
series
Right.
and Dragonlance and all that stuff kind of was their gateway drug to get them into some of these series that they read now. But yeah, no, that's perfect because there's always young readers at these events and it's always good to have something for them. And there's so many adults that enjoy reading. I find the lines kind of been blurred over the last 15, 20 years where, something might be stamped as YA or middle grade, but so many adults enjoy it.
I
And
love
then,
reading it too, and it makes me sad when like somebody comes to my table and they'll look and they go, "Oh, that's for kids." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I love reading it, and there's lots of adults that love reading it just
right. I
because."
mean, that's one thing that you kind of hope that you can get through is that. And sometimes I get that, you have the rating system and they're looking for the hard R's and the X's and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
some of the best stories I've read are the ones that are geared for younger readers because it takes quite a bit of ingenuity to make those hit as hard when you are handcuffed and not allowed to do all
it
the
is.
things we can do with the hard R kind of
Yeah,
writing.
before we started, I was saying, I mean, I started in kids
Hmm.
literature and I'm moving now towards more adult literature. And it is, I mean, there's hard things about both of them, obviously, but kidlit is so hard. There's so many gatekeepers.
Hmm.
You have to have such a high standard to even, pass their tests to get,
Right.
to get into a school or whatever, to get the
Oh
books.
yeah, for sure. Because there's so many different community guidelines and regulations that just getting your books out into the libraries in front of kids and having teachers recommend them for reading programs and things of that nature. I could totally see why that would be an issue. But I
Yeah.
also think that in the long run, that's going to help you tremendously because that's like I said, that's not something everybody gets to exercise when they're writing. You've kind of started the hard way, and now you're going to get to slide into the challenges of writing adult fiction. But you'll have
Hopefully the
that,
adults like it as much as the kids have.
right? Yeah. Well, I think they will. I think the Demon Taylor is really good, so folks
Thank you.
should be checking this stuff out. And I just think it's cool that you got such a wide range of offerings for the age groups because
And
we
I'm happy
definitely
you
need
like
more
historic.
readers, huh?
I said I'm happy you like historic horror.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I love.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for anything like that. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, when you mentioned it when we met, I was like, oh, I definitely have to grab this. So, um, yeah, I just think it's a cool thing. And I'm really excited to hear that movie that the book that's coming out might get a movie too. That's really
Yeah,
awesome.
it's in development. Hopefully, we've got more than half the budget. We've got a phenomenal director on board,
Very cool.
producer support, and then the Ghost Hunter series. This is option for TV,
I was gonna
but
say that sounded when you held it up, I thought, well, that would make a pretty cool show,
yeah,
especially.
it's option for TV. But like we were saying, Hollywood's a mess right now, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's really, really, really tough. And so that's, I mean, if you look at TV, it's mostly just big names like Harry Potter
Hmm.
or established IP that they're just regurgitating over and over and over again because all the executives are so terrified of losing their jobs right now.
Yeah, I can see that. And I ran into that same situation before I started writing. We went to a YA event at a Barnes and Noble. Guy was selling books, and they were kind of geared towards my son at the time. And so we went and met him, and Hunter got to get all of the books and signed and all that. And we were just chit chatting. It was even before I thought I might even become a writer. And my wife was asking him about getting into it. He's like, "Oh, it's real easy if you're a producer." Turned out he was a producer of TV shows. And then
Oh
he
my
just
God.
wrote books. And of course, the companies, they already had a relationship with them and they
Yeah.
wanted stuff produced. So why not let the producer have, a run of books? So I thought, okay, this is going to be a little bit, when I started doing it, I started thinking about that guy and I was like, I think I might just go the route I'm going to go. So, but yeah, it's always easier, I guess, if you're a producer is the
Must
thing
be.
I
And
took
then
away
now
from
the
it.
TV show is all about the showrunner now.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully we have an amazing showrunner, but it just, they have their vision. And if their vision isn't what want what one of the big companies, studios or streamers wants, then it's not a good fit and you got to move on.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I could see how this would be aggravating but exciting at the same time. So,
yes, it's a roller
um,
coaster.
yeah. Well, thank you for jumping on.
Absolutely.
I'm
Hope to
really
meet a lot of
excited.
people there.
Are you in the Houston
I'm
area?
in Houston. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm excited when you come up because I think we met at Honors Con last year, and I
Yes.
think this will be the first time we run into each other at an event this year. Might be the
Absolutely.
only time we run into each other at an event this year, but like I said, I enjoyed talking last year, and this interview was fun. And I'd love to dig into some more books after reading this one. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
take it easy.
Okay, you too.